Welcome back. I know it's been a while. I feel as if we should, talk about this. Okay, so, how to begin? Oh, yes. I, watched season 1 through 4 plus 2 episodes, well, 1.5 episodes of season 5 of the acclaimed series Game of Thrones. Why did I make this video if I haven't finished it? I have. I've seen all I need to see to know I'm not gonna like anything that comes next. I know, there's 8 seasons, and I only watched half of the entire show. What am I going to gain? I'll tell you what, I read the books. Do I remember them? A little. Very much. A little bit. I have thoughts. Now, I want to say, spoilers for the show, for the book, whatever you want. Not spoilers for the show, because if you have seen the entire show, the books are, they don't go that far. There's supposed to be 7 of them. There's only 5. Okay, 2 more. It's been 11 years since the last book came out. Sure, I didn't read these in 2011, but it has been 11 years. This series has been going on for 31 years. The first book, A Game of Thrones, was published and released in 96. It was George R. Martin first started writing it in 1991. The first books had a, standard release date. We had 96, then 98, then 2000, then 2008, I think. And then, now we have 2011. And yet, we still do not have Winds of Winter. I am going to reread the books over the summer. I do not have them with me now. But actually, I'm going home from for Easter, so I will probably just bring them with me. Get a jump on it, you know how it is. But my mom also got the book I was looking for, so maybe I'll read that one first. So, because that's a library book, I'd have to turn that one back. I own the series A Song of Ice and Fire. So this is just going to be me talking about some things that I hated about the show, and things that I think they could have done differently, and also my favorite parts of the books, and also my theories and predictions for the books. I do not acknowledge Season 8. Actually, I don't acknowledge Season 6 and on, because, I will admit, the one thing I think the show did do right, okay, there's a couple things. First off, I think they did it right by, having Tommen commit suicide. I already said spoilers. Him flinging himself from a window seems, like it would happen. And it also does seem like Stannis Baratheon would burn his poor, very sweet, undeserving daughter alive, because he is that insane. I don't know what they did with grayscale in the show. I know that in the book it is, I think Jorah Mormont gets it. Anyway. And this makes me a little upset, by the way. Speaking of Jorah Mormont, they mention the Golden Company in the show, right? They're a group of sellswords, much like the Second Sons, led by Daario Naharis. Now, I know he doesn't look like that in the book. I know that in the book, he has blue hair, a blue beard, and a golden mustache. I know he is not that ruggedly handsome. But dye that man's hair blue, and the actor, I don't know his name, but he has the finest, not only face, because there's plenty more that they show you of that man, and oh my god, I was sitting there like, this is the only man in the entire series I actually want to see naked. Give it to me. They did. They gave me several ass shots, so I was just like, nice. Anyway, what? They showed Amelia Clark's boobs, too, so I also enjoyed that part. My friends are gonna make fun of me. I don't care. I'm asexual, okay? I appreciate it from afar. Anyway, so, they mentioned the Golden Company, and why this is bugging me is because they didn't put Aegon Targaryen in it. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, they did. No, they didn't. No, not Aegon the Conqueror. No. Not Aegon Snow. No. No, they didn't put in Griff. Aegon Targaryen. Rhaegar and Elia Martell's son. I know. The kid who died? No! He didn't. Okay, it's totally not really Aegon. It's totally not Aegon. But, he thinks that he is. He really does believe he is Aegon Targaryen. So, there's that. Tyrion meets him, and he's like, yeah, okay. Interesting story. Wouldn't be the first freak show I met out here. So yeah. I will say, I think they tried to make the White Walkers really interesting. Oh, poorly executed. And they cut out Cold Hands, who's this guy who's like super tall and rides an elk, and like guides Bran to Jojen and Mira and Hodor to, what's it called? To the Children of the Forest. Remember the Three-Eyed Raven. So, yeah, he's awesome. I don't know why he isn't in it. Also, I don't know what they did to Benjen Stark in the show. I know they did something to him, but I don't know what. I want to make it abundantly clear. That, Cold Hands is not Benjen. I think a lot of people want to make that assumption. No, they're different people. They also, the Night King is not a thing in the books. There's not an army of the dead. They saw one White Walker on a horse, and that was it. Okay, they might have seen more. I don't remember super well. I remember them finding all the dragon glass weapons, and not knowing what they were, so they didn't really care to take them, except for the one that Sam used to kill the White Walker. Anyway. Also, Jon and Ygritte. Anyway, I love them, but also sad, because she dies. I do remember distinctly, Jon shooting Mance Rayner? I don't remember. Wildling dude. Shooting him, instead of him burning alive. I remember that distinctly. And I remember Melisandre being like, about it, how she is. Anyway, but, so the books end, with Daenerys stranded in the Great Grass Sea with Drogon, who is, decidedly not cooperating, and, go figure, the giant beast that breathes fire doesn't want to listen to a teenage girl. She gets her period for the first time in, like, years, and is like, oh my god, I didn't think I could have kids. Well, surprise, surprise. You can. Anyway, and that's how it ends for her. Brienne of Tarth is last seen with the sword that Jaime gave her, now that Tywin wasn't around to tell him not to. And sends her on her way. Oh, also, fun fact, I'll tell you who should have died. Who did die. The last time we see the Hound, he is bleeding to death under a tree, screaming at Arya to kill him faster so that he won't be in pain. And she literally just goes, no, heart emoji, and leaves. She goes to Bravos or whatever. And last time we see her, she drinks the water out of the pool, goes blind, sticks her sword in a hole in the wall so nobody finds it, because she told the dude, I don't know what his name is, I don't even know if he has a name, she told him that she was giving up Lady Arya and being just a woman or whatever. She totally lied. She also runs into Sam. I don't know if that happens in the show, but I was sitting there like, when they talked, because he just said like hi to her or whatever. She was like, hi. Also, he didn't tell Jon about Bran being in the north. Bran told him, you can't tell Jon or he'll come after me. And he was like, okay, I won't. And he didn't. Oh, also, fun fact, you Pedro Pascal stands. Oberyn kills the Mountain. Like, yes, okay, Gregor does get a pretty good hit in by bashing his skull in, just like in the show. But I remember him, doing his, hello, my name is Inigo Montoya speech. As, you raped my sister, you murdered her, and you killed her children. But Gregor grabs him and he says, I killed her, and then I raped her, and kills him. But he got cut, stabbed, multiple times by the poisoned pike. So he died. They didn't bring him back. He's dead. Officially, totally deceased. No, he's completely gone. He's out. Which I wish they had done, because they didn't have to bring him back. Fucking God. I hate that they brought it back. Anyway. The, other thing. Oh yeah, Podrick. Tyrion's squire. Yeah. He dies at Blackwater, defending Tyrion. I don't remember how, but he does. And I remember Tyrion being like, where's Pod? And they're all like, that kid, he's dead. He's gone. So, rip Podrick. I do like him in the show, though. I think he's sweet. Gendry, I think the same thing happens to him. I initially didn't think that all the bastards were killed in, the book, but looking back, I actually do think that happened. I can't remember so well, but, yeah. It's just, anyway, I think we're gonna get, and the last time we see Jon, he is bleeding to death. Literally, Alistair Thorne kills him. So, you know how it is. But, yeah, I don't, anyway, my predictions are as follows. My predictions for Winds of Winter are Melisandre bringing Jon back, just like in the show. I do imagine Jon would also quit after that one, because he would be like, I've had enough trying to help these people. They voted me for their Lord Commander, they liked me, and then the second Sam and Maester Aemon were out of the picture, y'all killed me. There's a reason Gren and Pip had to die. It's because without them, and with Sam off doing whatever, and Maester Aemon dying because he's 109 years old, somebody had to do it, I guess. I feel like killing Jon off, and then of course he's coming back. His story is not even close to being resolved yet. You could be like, oh, you know, Robb died. Okay, Robb died because he wasn't ever important. Alright, look, yes, King in the North, it was supposed to be a thing for a while. And then, obviously, they had to get Cersei as the main player. They had to get all this madness over with. So, what did they do? Killed him, right? Stannis got his ass whooped at Blackwater Bay. Robb got stabbed to death and, you know, decapitated with his wolf's head sewn on top of him. And what else happened? Oh, Catelyn's throat slit. What else? Who else? Renly stabbed to death by a shadow. That happens in the book too. Oh, except he dies when he makes Brienne part of his Rainbow Guard. If that isn't a euphemism, I don't know what is. And now that I think about it, you know, there's no overt Renly is homosexual in the book that I remember. I probably would have picked up on that, and I don't remember that. But he was married to Marjorie for 2 weeks. She claimed she was a virgin. She probably wasn't. Like, let's be real. But anyway, Loras Tyrell is like not that important to the story. Like, yeah, he's like engaged to Cersei. Anyway, another thing for all you Jaime Lannister stans, he actually goes through some character development. As in when Cersei tries to come on to him, we'll just say that, in the, like, Kingsguard room with the Book of the Brothers or whatever it's called. He is like, no, not here. She's like, you had sex with me in front of our dead child, and you won't do it here? And he's like, no. And then he is like, why don't we get married? But, she's like, are you insane? Are you insane? And he's like, no. She's like, no, we're never getting married. That's never happening. And he's like, fine. Do everything on your own. And he leaves. And he goes to fix River Run after. Edmure embarrassed himself again by letting his sister get murdered and his nephew. Yeah, I know Blackfish escaped, but like, and you know, the entirety of the, well, he was getting his rocks off. So, also, Talisa, not important. Not an important character. She shows up 2 times. One time, when Robb introduces her to Catelyn, he's like, this is my wife, Talisa. We got married last night. And Catelyn's like, are you actually stupid? And he's like, yes. So, and then it's a second time, from Jaime's POV, when he goes back to repair, damage control for Cersei, he sees her, and there's like a moment where it like alludes to her being pregnant, but nobody does anything about it. So as far as I'm concerned, that plotline is still open. Robb Stark has a son out there somewhere, or daughter, I don't know. Anyway, so, you know, that could come back, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it ends literally with Jon getting stabbed in the back by Alistair Thorne, and that's the end. That's the end. The chapter before that is Dany, and she gets her period, and again, she's trying to hide from the other Dothraki because they know that she's alone, and this fucking dragon won't listen to her. So, you know how it is. Daario Naharis and her, like, break up for some reason, but I can't remember exactly why. Again, I love Daario, he's very fine. But, it's not Jason Momoa, but Um, yeah. So, um, yeah. Also, they changed Joffrey's wedding. Like, okay, so later on, Tyrion meets the people, but, Joffrey gets a troop of dwarves who, you know, entertain for a living. And one of them, like, rides a dog. Like, what kind of dog are you riding? But, you know, cool, I guess. Anyway, it's in terrible taste because obviously it's there to mess with Tyrion. And he makes a joke about Tyrion. He says, like, maybe you could ride the dog. And Tyrion just looks at him like, maybe you could choke to death. And, he pours wine over his head. That happens. Olenna Tyrell did not have anything to do with this. She was there, sure. She had nothing to do with Joffrey's death. She doesn't even really show up much at all. She asks Sansa if Joffrey really is the devilish little demon that, you know, she's heard that he is, and Sansa's like, yeah, he totally is. He's awful. Anyway, and Sansa escapes. Also, she doesn't have a necklace, it's like a hair thing. And she freaks out because one of the stones is missing. It's not, and Littlefinger takes credit for it, but as far as actual evidence goes, kid probably just choked to death. Also, he didn't choke on pigeon pie or whatever it was. He choked drinking out of the chalice that Lord Tyrell gave him. He, like, drinks out of it because he's, you know, pretentious as frick. And, anyway. But he makes a joke about Tyrion riding a dog, and then after that, Cersei is like, you did this. And he's like, and what if I did? What are you gonna do to me? Kill you, apparently. Also, Shae, long gone. She doesn't come back. Homegirl is gone. He doesn't kill her, either, if I remember correctly. He totally does shoot Tywin while he's crapping his pants. Crapping, I guess. He's not crapping his pants. But I just remember the line, they make fun of Lannisters, like, dude, this Tywin Lannister shit gold. And Tyrion shoots him in, like, the abdomen area, lower abdomen. So, shits himself uncontrollably. And the last line in the chapter is, in the end, Tywin Lannister did not, in fact, shit gold. And that is awesome. Jaime also tells Tyrion that his wife, that he thought was just some girl, that, you know, turned out to be like a prostitute that they paid. She was not a prostitute. And it was real. She really did like him. And she really did want to marry him. She was not a whore. Jaime and Tywin planned it to fuck with Tyrion. And Jaime tells him, after he lets him out of the cell, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, you know your wife? Yeah, no, I didn't pay her. She really did love you. Sorry about that. Sorry I had her raped in front of you multiple times. Yeah, so. Good luck. And Tyrion's like, you are so lucky I'm not gonna kill you right now. Anyway, and the same basically happens. He gets out of Westeros because of Varys. Anyway, theories. Theory number 1. Melisandre is totally bringing Jon Snow back from the dead. She took quite an interest in him in the book as well. They talk very often, and all kinds of stuff. Actually, I remember why he gets betrayed now. It's because you're not supposed to, like, show preferences to kings or whatever, and he is seemingly showing one to Stannis, so all the people who might have voted for him decide that they don't care, and that he's breaking the rules more than they are comfortable with, so, but he's definitely coming back. And also, considering everybody hates him in the Night's Watch, and he died, I feel like this is, like, the only way to get him out of the Night's Watch, so he can move on to bigger and better things, like potentially becoming King in the North, and hopefully killing Ramsay Bolton. I really want the Battle of the Bastards to happen in the book, because that would be awesome. like I said, there are a couple things they do in the show that are very much book-esque. Oh, also, Sansa never gets anywhere near Ramsay Bolton. That never happens. Ramsay gets engaged to her best friend, Jean Poole, who's not in the show. Although her dad is. He's like mentioned one time. Yeah, no. She is not near him. What they do is they find Jean Poole and they dress her up like Arya. Or, they dye her hair brown or whatever. And, oh, also Theon still has a penis in the book. Yeah, that doesn't. And why did they change her name to Yara? Her name is Asha. Asha Greyjoy. They're like, what do you have against Asha? Is this too similar to Osha? Is that what it was? Anyway, yeah, no, he totally does the same thing when he sees her again, by the way, and I remember that. And I remember being like, can siblings please stop touching each other? This is disgusting. Ugh. But Jaime goes through a lot of character development. He actually burns Cersei's letter. I know he does that in the show too, but then he comes back and he's like, I still love you. No. He doesn't. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. In fact, he actually doesn't do that at all. No. Because that's the last time you see him. He burns the letter, and you never see him again. And Cersei, after getting every hair on her body shaved, she also has, like, a servant that she befriends in very intimate ways, who is a woman, so. Cersei Lannister gay, question mark? If only. So yeah, I do think that Tana and Myrcella are definitely gonna die in the book. I think Myrcella is dead in the book, but I don't remember, what happens to her at all. She's really so unimportant, it doesn't even matter. But, oh yeah, no, they're all gonna die. There's no way ain't no way they survive this. But, sorry. Yeah, interesting, but, so yeah, I would just say I think that Daenerys is probably gonna end up back wherever the hell, somehow, and maybe we'll see more of Daario Naharis. I like him. I want to see more of that guy. He's cool. He's cool in the book, too. I remember liking him. Oh, also, they cut it out of the show. Thank God, honestly. But Jorah and Daenerys kiss. Before he betrays her and she kicks him out. They kiss once. So. And she actually inadvertently saves Tyrion's life. Not that they ever meet each other, but he does, perform for her, because he joins the troupe of actors, or whatever they are, for a very brief amount of time. Probably a very low point in his life. Well, definitely a very low point in his life. He also ends up traveling with Jorah Mormont and, again, Aegon Targaryen. Young Griff is what they call him. Who works for the Golden Company. You know how it is. Also, I know that this isn't in the book, but listen. When I first found out about this, I thought it was a fan theory. I didn't actually think that Jon Snow was Rhaegar Targaryen's son. I didn't know that. I didn't think about it. I was sitting there like, oh, Lyanna died bleeding to death in a bed. Wonder how that happened, and then I heard the theory. Well, I thought it was a theory, and I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. And then, oh, it's in the show? Did George tip them off? He very easily could have. I feel like he probably, for at least season 6, because he was producer or whatever, I feel like he totally tipped them off for that sort of thing. They'd be like, hey, what if you connected this to this? Makes a nice straight line, don't it? It honestly makes so much sense. And it makes sense why, like, what promise would Ned make his dying sister if not to take care of her son and not let anybody ever know who he is? Like, what else promise would he make her? I still really hate Robert Baratheon for everything he did, because he's literally the worst, right? Like, he was horrible to Cersei. She's a bitch, but he was awful to her. And just the way he treated... And Ned and him actually didn't really like each other that much right after the war, because Ned joined up because Aerys Targaryen burned his father and brother alive. Can't blame him for being upset about that one. And as far as he knew, Lyanna was kidnapped. So he was not too keen about that one either. But, after he found out that Rhaegar's children had been murdered, the way that they were murdered, and that Robert didn't care, he thought it was fine, didn't see a problem, Ned was like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, and, like, left. And especially after Lyanna died, and now he had to protect his nephew from his best friend, or I guess kind of former best friend, right? He had to protect him from that? Because, let's be real, Lyanna's kid or not, if Robert knew that Jon was Rhaegar's son and the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, it'd be over. He would be killed. And Ned would never be able to forgive him for that one. So, you know. Anyway, okay, this video is so damn long, and I was gonna play Minecraft, so. Goodbye, everyone. Again, I'll just brief. I think Jon's coming back in the book, obviously. I think things are gonna have to start happening. Also, I do not think there's gonna be any romance between him and Daenerys in the book at all. It would be a miracle if they ever even look at each other, much less make out. So, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen at all. Also, the fact that she's his aunt. So, ick. And you could be like, oh, I guess it's not as bad as some of the other incest in the show, but fucking shut up. Anyway, Jon Snow's my favorite character. Kit Harington is a wonderful actor. The only thing I like about the show is the cast. Sorry. They did a very good job. And even if they don't look exactly like the character is described in the book, they still embody them very well, right? Like, Peter Dinklage doesn't have blonde hair. He's the best. He's perfect as Tyrion. Perfect. Would have it no other way. Also, he's in Narnia. He's in everything. I love that guy. You know, anyway, and, like, Maisie Williams did a very good job. You know, and, like, all the people who just brought these characters to life did such an amazing job. Lena Headey especially. As well as, I don't know his last name. The kid who played Joffrey. Fantastic. I was so happy to see that little cunt choke to death. But, anyway. It is truly a magnificent series, and as misogynistic as it can be at sometimes, and as brutal and gruesome and heart-wrenching, I love it. I love it, and I cannot wait for the next book to come out. And if George R. R. Martin dies before it comes out, because that is an actual concern I have. He's 74. I am very afraid, very much afraid, that that man is going to kick the bucket before Winds of Winter comes out. I just want to know what happens. I just need to know that it ends differently than the show, because that finale is so god-awful. Also, I need to know if Jaime and Brienne are gonna fuck. I don't know. It is, like, God, please have sex with somebody that isn't your sister, you disgusting little whore. I digress. That's the end. Goodbye.